Every financial guru on the internet tells you the exact same lie. Just invest $100 a month, wait 40 years, and you'll automatically become a millionaire. They show you those beautiful, smooth compound interest curves where money grows effortlessly like a tree. But there is a brutal reality about the first 10 years that they deliberately hide from you. In the beginning, compounding doesn't work. It feels like an absolute joke. You sacrifice your lifestyle, you stop eating out, you save every extra dollar, and after 5 years of intense discipline, your investment returns can barely cover a single weekend grocery bill. You look at your account and think, why am I even doing this? Here is the mathematical truth Wall Street keeps under wraps. Compounding has a hidden ignition threshold. It is not a smooth, steady climb from day one. It operates like a rocket engine. A rocket consumes 80% of its fuel just to break free from the Earth's gravity and reach the atmosphere. Once it's in space, it flies almost effortlessly. Your wealth works the exact same way. Until your portfolio hits a very specific mathematical mass, it lacks the gravitational pull to generate its own momentum. If you don't cross this hidden threshold, you are essentially wasting your time. To understand exactly how this works, we have to look at the legendary rule coined by Charlie Munger, the brilliant billionaire partner of Warren Buffett. Munger once famously stated, "The first $100,000 is a bitch, but you have to do it. I don't care what you have to do. If it means walking everywhere and not eating anything that wasn't purchased with a coupon, find a way to get your hands on $100,000. Munger wasn't just throwing out a random catchy number to sound motivational. He was talking about cold, hard mathematics. Until your portfolio hits $100,000, your capital does not have the physical weight required to move the needle. Let's break down the basic math that proves this. Imagine 3 different people, Mark, Jessica, and David. All 3 are investing their money into a standard index fund yielding a solid historical 8% annual return. Mark is just starting out and has managed to scrape together $10,000. At an 8% return, Mark's portfolio generates $800 in a single year. Break that down, and it's about $66 a month. In modern America, $66 doesn't even cover a basic utility bill. It's a nice dinner out, and that's it. Mark looks at his $800 return after 12 months of checking the stock market every day, gets deeply discouraged, and stops investing. He concludes that the system is rigged. But Mark failed to realize that his own monthly savings were doing 95% of the heavy lifting. He was doing all the work, not his money. Now look at Jessica. Jessica was more disciplined and pushed through the dry years. Her portfolio is now sitting at exactly $100,000. Watch how the mathematics suddenly shift. At that same 8% return, Jessica's portfolio now generates $8,000 a year without her lifting a single finger. That is over $660 every single month of completely automated passive income. Suddenly, the money is starting to look real. $660 a month can cover a car payment or a significant portion of a monthly grocery bill. At this specific threshold, the portfolio has developed enough mass to actually help Jessica push the snowball down the hill. But now, let's look at David, who understood the threshold rule perfectly and accumulated $300,000. At an 8% return, David's portfolio generates a staggering $24,000 a year. That is exactly $2,000 every single month of pure, automated cash flow entering his life. This is the exact turning point where the financial roles completely reverse. David no longer needs to aggressively sacrifice his lifestyle to fund his investments because his portfolio is now saving more money per month than the average American worker can physically earn from a full-time job. The snowball is no longer being pushed. It is rolling down the mountain by itself, crushing everything in its path and growing exponentially bigger every second. The fatal mistake 90% of people make is that they look at the incredibly flat, boring line of the first 5 to 7 years and assume the wealth-building machine is broken. They don't see the massive vertical spike waiting for them in year 15 or 20, so they quit right before the ignition phase. What makes this journey even harder for the modern worker is the brutal combination of taxes and inflation. When you are trying to build that first $100,000, inflation is constantly eroding the purchasing power of your cash, while capital gains taxes attempt to chip away at your small investment returns. If you are earning a standard wage and living in a high-cost area, trying to save your way to $100,000 purely through your active income can feel like running on a treadmill that keeps speeding up. So, how do you actually actually defeat this trap and force your capital across the $100,000 threshold before frustration sets in, you have to stop treating your personal finances like a casual hobby and start treating them like a calculated corporate balance sheet. To shorten the timeline from a grueling 10 years down to a sharp 3 or 4 years, you need to ruthlessly optimize two specific variables: your savings velocity and your leverage. First, you must aggressively widen the gap between what you earn and what you spend. Every single dollar of surplus income must be treated as a worker whose only job is to go out and capture more dollars. Second, you cannot rely on guesswork. You need to know your exact numbers, your exact daily burn rate, and your precise mathematical timeline to ignition. Most people fail simply because they cannot visualize where they currently stand on this flat, compounding curve. They are flying completely blind, hoping that everything will magically work out by the time they retire. But hope is a terrible financial strategy. If you want to stop guessing, take control of your numbers, and calculate the exact date your money will finally take over your job, we have developed a specialized tracking blueprint. You can access the tool via the link in the description below to find your personal threshold number. But remember, building a massive portfolio is only half the battle. Every single financial plan, no matter how perfect the math is, can completely fall apart in a matter of weeks if you don't have the proper safety net when life goes sideways. One unexpected medical emergency or bad accident can wipe out years of your compounding progress if your protection strategy is wrong. And unfortunately, most people fall into the ultimate trap of buying the wrong type of protection, thinking they are safe when they are actually completely exposed. To discover how to shield your financial dream from sudden collapse and avoid the massive mistakes hidden in standard policies, click on this next video right now. See you there!